Like, I don't think I've genuinely ever watched a group of, what is this, seven men, especially, interact in such a playful, friendly, good-hearted way.
What is happening, everyone? Max here. I've got my friend HIlary with me today.
Hello.
Hey, HIlary.
Hey.
I thought it'd be fun to bring her on the channel. HIlary is a comedian and, what would you say, a comedy creator?
That's
comedy
correct.
content creator. So she was kind enough to not only bring me chips today, which I love, but also to film this reaction with me. And this is actually going to be her first time watching BTS. And she actually asked me, should I do K-pop homework?
Yes.
And I refused. I said, no, I want this to be a genuine first reaction. So that's what it's going to be. And I decided to introduce her to a Run BTS episode as her first introduction. You have no idea what that means?
No.
No. It's a variety. I don't even know where to get started. It's a variety show. You ready? You excited?
I am. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Okay.
야, 오랜만이네요. 아, 이게 달방 얼마 만이지? 5달 만이라고요? 와, 5달 만이래. 5달? 5달 만이래. 와.
그러면 이 주위를 둘러보시면은 비니 오락실.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
That's the youngest dude in the group. JK, I call him, Jungkook. Next to him is actually the second youngest guy in the group, V, Jimin. These are the three maknaes, they call them, the youngsters.
Okay.
JK, V, Jimin. Then we've got Suga, RM, Jin, and J-Hope.
아니 방금 아까 그 멘트 했잖아요. 아까 그 멘트 남준이가 했어요. 아 빨리 넘어가자 한 거지.
우리 단 한 명을 딱 보여주자고요.
그래. 저희 뭐 어떤 식으로 진행하면 돼요? 막 아빠 게임이랑 이런 거 있다는 거 설명 들었는데.
So they do this variety show thing. They do this
Okay.
variety show thing. They were doing it weekly.
Oh.
Yeah, they were
on
doing
top
it
of
weekly.
being K-pop musicians.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like they're like the Kardashians
Right.
of music. Like
Yes.
if they had talent. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Kardashians have talent, but just not
No,
maybe
speak
in this
your
way.
mind. I love it. No, it's true. It's just like they're reality stars, I guess, if you only watch them in this format.
Right.
But really, their primary job is they're musicians. Yeah, they're K-pop stars. It's cool.
I
It's
like
just
that. I think it's
yeah.
a really unique way to like build more of a connection with the audience.
100%.
Lets them see your authentic personality a bit more.
100%.
대로 하느냐 아니면 랜덤 뽑아서 하느냐인데 뭐 어떻게 하실 건가요?
뽑아서 하는 게 재밌지 않을까요, 우리?
그죠?
네.
저도 그렇게 생각합니다.
오케이, 알겠습니다. 그럼 뽑아서 하시는 걸로 하고요.
네.
밀어놨던 벌칙을 하셔야 돼서.
아 맞다.
나는 뭐지?
나랑 박지민. 뭔 벌칙?
지민 씨가 지난 파자마 촬영 당시 벌칙에 걸리셔서.
What was the pajama episode?
Sounds
Ooh,
fun, huh?
Spicy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they
okay.
have fun, these boys. It says team building special
Yeah.
here, but I think it's all kind of team building.
Do you feel like are they all as willing to kind of be made fun of or look silly?
That's a good
publicly?
question. Yeah, I think they're all pretty open to getting made fun of. Yeah, because they all tease each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing about these guys. They're very playful. So I don't know if there's one guy in particular who's more open to it. I have to think about that. Maybe Jin. Jin's the oldest guy, and he's in the white. Not this guy. He's in the white sweater here. He kind of puts himself out there in a
Oh,
way.
okay. You know what? That
But-
tracks from what I know about men as they age. I feel like they're a little bit more willing to like make fun of themselves,
Okay.
taking things less seriously. Not always, though. Not
I like
always,
that.
But you know.
Makes it easier to be around people like that.
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. I think there's nothing worse than being around someone who's so like,
Yeah.
you know, it's so fun to be playful and kind of
Yes.
like make fun of someone and obviously not being rude.
Yeah,
But
builds connection.
totally.
잘할 거야 빨리.
아 그런 걸 했었어요. 상당한 편이 있었어요?
요거는 여러분들이 낸 아이디어로.
오. 아 이쁘네.
아 저거 되게 편해.
야, 저거 호석이 형이 입국할 때 입던 옷이랑 비슷한데?
아야 그거 아니지.
감정 고무신.
야 나도 입고.
I remember actually now that when I first watched this, I remember thinking, wow, they have really good voices, and completely forgetting that they're actually K-pop stars.
Like, by the way, does anyone
Yeah.
know these
Yeah.
boys can
wow,
sing?
these boys
Yeah.
could really sing. They're like, yeah, no shit, man.
Yeah.
They're singers.
지민. 잘 어울린다. 야 너무 이쁘다.
감정 고무신.
아 이렇게 해야 되나? 아 이렇게 해야 되는 거야? 아닌가? 오케이 자 해보자. 달려라.
That's one of the things I like about these boys too, is they can be like very goofy around each other.
Yes, yeah.
You know, I feel like that's a sign of like really being yourself, and you can be like completely goofy.
Yeah.
There is a vulnerability in it.
Yeah.
Just being completely goofy and not worrying about the response. And you see that a lot with these guys.
Yeah, for sure. There's like an element of trust where they know that if they're going to be silly, it's going to be accepted.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Because could you imagine if it was like a different dynamic where there's a couple of guys that thought they were too cool for this, and you know, then you get into a dynamic where there's eye rolling and scoffing, and that doesn't invite you wanting to actually be you.
No, exactly.
그래서 도전 안 했으면 지금. 여러분 다 같이 합시다. 하나, 둘, 셋. 도전! 가자.
Flexible.
이거는 진짜 다 다르지.
이건 다르다.
하트다.
I'm just amazed by how comfortable they all seem with themselves and with each other.
Okay.
Like, I don't think I've genuinely ever watched a group of, seven men, especially, interact in such a playful, friendly, good-hearted way.
Yeah,
like this is genuinely making me believe in humanity again.
There you go. We're converting her, people. We're converting her. Yeah, I have so many great things to say about these guys, but it's true. Do you just mean like the fact that they're just being their goofy selves around each other?
Yeah. Like there's
it's really nice.
Yeah, like where they're able to be almost like childlike.
Yeah,
which I think is rare to see, and specifically,
men.
A group of men.
Yeah.
Friends that are doing that.
Definitely.
Like, that is so rare to see.
And I like that you said that they seem very comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
That's something that I've commented a lot on. They really do. And I think the more comfortable you are with yourself, like we said earlier, it's like easier to be goofy and playful, and you can let your stupid, ridiculous, softer side or whatever you want to call it come out.
Yeah.
I'm happy you noticed that so early on.
뭐야?
비다.
야, 이게 한 사람만 나오는 게.
그치. 내가 비다, 너가 비다. 다 된 거 아니야? 그러면? 지민이 뭐 했는데?
성공?
첫 스타트. 좋습니다. 좋았어요.
I think that's what I love about just how close they are, how close they seem, you know. That's always one of the reasons I really enjoy.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're all entertainers too, and they know a camera's filming them. So I'd be so curious to be like a fly on the wall when they're just hanging out. It seems pretty authentic.
I think they're so comfortable at this point with the cameras being on them because they're being filmed so often.
Yeah.
This is episode 116, but they've done like a million shows and interviews. I think it's just second nature to them to have the cameras on them. So they actually have their fan base name. I should tell you this. It's very important. Okay. Their fan base name is called Army.
Army.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
the Army?
No, just Army.
Army. Okay.
I think I might have said the Army before, and I got some comments.
Oh, okay.
Quickly correcting me.
지금 6분밖에 안 돼? 화난다. 남준이 화난다. Come on.
Competitive.
Come on.
Like, these guys are all like mega stars already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're like committed to this like silly show, which I find so endearing, you know?
Well, in a way, like they don't necessarily like need this show.
No, true.
Yeah.
Like they're already huge stars. But I actually, like, part of me feels like they really enjoy doing it. I'm sure some of it's like, they have to be on. It's still work to a degree.
Yeah. I'm sure they've signed contracts.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But they love being around each other so much. So it's like I think they look forward to it.
Okay.
Like, where is this house? Like, where are they filming this right now?
No idea.
And how can I get invited?
Yeah,
That looks so fun.
Some random production studio probably in Seoul somewhere.
I just think it's bonkers, like this idea of like, we're going to take these K-pop stars, put them in a room where they can't leave, put on some cameras, give them some chips, some flower pants, maybe a vending machine of sorts, and just see what happens.
Exactly. It's reality TV at its best,
I guess, yeah. Why don't we have that
They do road trips and stuff too. What's that? Why don't we have that here?
Yeah, why don't we have that in North America?
Like, who would do it? You're saying
I would pay so much money to watch Taylor Swift eat chips. Like
she doesn't have a crew though. That's the thing. She's solo. I think that's the appeal. It's like there's a group of them who are all the stars who all get to be together. If it's just Taylor, I'd still watch it.
Whoa, yeah.
We'd still watch it. Swifties, don't come after me. Do we have boy bands? I don't think we do.
Maybe
that's crazy.
Because our individualistic culture.
Maybe that's what it is.
Tainted.
But yeah, wild. The concept is like it's simple, but like it's great.
Yeah.
All right, now they're doing some karaoke. Let's go.
Can you believe they can sing so well? It's insane.
It's crazy. Wow, this guy could really sing. Is he a musician or something? So actually, these guys are all, obviously they're all Korean, but in Korea it's mandatory to go to the army. So now 3 of them are in the army. 2025 is when they're all going to be reunited.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're kind of on a little bit of a hiatus right now. But,
will they actually come back together?
Woo. My money would be on 100%.
Yeah? Okay.
100%
okay.
yes.
All right.
야, 덤벼. 야, 127 깰 수 있는 사람 덤벼.
127. 내가 간다.
와, 땀 엄청 났어.
I think V in general, just like he seems the least disturbed by any of this.
Yeah,
like,
He's just in his own world type thing.
I mean, out of all of the guys, I feel like he would be the one that I would need to be like, do you have a pulse? Like, are you here? Like, like he just like I was thinking of it earlier when they were doing like the heart thing and the view and everything. He just kind of standing there like I was like, bro, are you even awake right now?
You okay?
You're here? Yeah, you're good. Yeah, and
yeah.
like same thing. Like everyone else is like playing a game and he's just like, I spiritually identify with that. To just be like,
it.
I'm singing in the corner.
It's funny, like, in terms of them kind of being childlike, I feel like he is the most childlike in a good way. No, I'm not saying he's immature.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's very connected to that like inner child in him. And if I feel this, I'm going to express this. If I want to do this, I'm going to do this.
Beautiful.
And sometimes it feels like he's kind of he's in his own world.
Yeah.
For sure. So that's cool. I like that you pointed that out. Feeling that pulse.
버리면 아 이렇게? 정아 다시 한번 불러줘 나중에 태영아. 오케이. 오 뭐야?
지금부터.
오야야야야.
제육 깨진다.
안돼. 진짜 떨어진다. 나왜 진짜 형.
Like what's cool for me too is like how into the activities they get for the other person. It just gets the audience so much more excited. It's like, okay, when you see someone who's actually like really into something, you're going to be more into it.
Yeah.
And here it's like they're really excited for each other.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, you would never see that at an arcade in North America.
No,
it would be boys like slamming each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Being, like, you can't win this. I will not support you, homie.
Exactly,
like,
blocking their shots.
100%.
Yeah,
But even
sure.
to your point of like, if you're engaged, it makes the audience want to be more engaged. Like when I was taking courses in comedy and writing, it was like if you're excited about it, like whatever energy you bring is going to translate directly to the audience.
Definitely.
So sometimes people bring, a very authentic vibe that you can feel.
Would you say knowing people more, like the fact that ARMY, their fan base, feels really connected to them and know them, do you think you start finding things funnier that other people might not see? Or like is there a different humor that's sort of unlocked the more you get to know someone, would you say?
Definitely. Yeah. Well, and I think just naturally when you're more comfortable with somebody, you're more willing to show different sides of your humor.
와 130점 못 넘으면 오지 마라. 아니 어디 애기들이 노냐. 같이 놀아줄라 해도 힘들다 진짜. 어이 뭐야 형? 나 그거 같이 할래.
Yeah, I think for sort of pause again, but I think for a lot of people, like they'll watch this and they know these guys so well, so it's like in their mind it's like, oh, Jin's being such a goof,
right?
And they might not be like rolling over laughing, but there's just like that kind of humor that's built in from knowing someone and being comfortable seeing someone and appreciating someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people,
I call that like the smirk laugh, where you're just kind of like, you're not like rolling on the floor laughing, but you're kind of like,
it's like an endearing, kind of,
you're just being you.
I
That's
love
cute.
this person.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I think when a lot of people probably show their friends or new people BTS, and you guys tell me, it's like, what, you don't think that's funny? Like, that's hilarious. What,
Right.
They just don't, they haven't had enough time to build that connection and that comfort.
Yeah. I actually think what's most funny about this part right now is that none of them are responding to what
Jungkook's singing.
Well, or just
like, wow,
or like what each other are doing.
They're
like,
all locked into their own activities.
Right,
It is kind of wacky. It's funny.
Yeah.
I'd like drop my stuff and be like, all right, that's
right.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. You put down your bag of chips and give it your full
Maybe
attention.
I wouldn't put down the bag of chips.
All right, that's too much to ask for.
야, 어떻게 이런 운동신경을 갖고 춤을 추지?
두 개. 아니.
자, 이 자존심 상한데? 잠깐만. 아니, 잠깐만.
아니야. 그럴 필요 없어. 그럴 필요 없어.
못하는 사람도 하면 되잖아. 아이 개그 욕심을 많이 냈네. 야, 너 좀 길어야겠다. 야, 줄 길어야겠다. 우리 하네.
So that guy's my favorite. The guy that says, you don't need to make this funny.
I was actually just about to ask if he was
Really?
your favorite.
Really?
I was
Okay.
this guy, and then I was like, nah, I gotta keep on. But he,
Suga.
yeah. Suga, I feel like doesn't take himself seriously, but he's also like, come on, like, what are we doing?
He's a realist.
Yes. Yeah. Which I'm not surprised that you connect
he just like gives it to you straight.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I always found that like inspiring almost. I'm like, I love how honest he is.
Yeah.
He's always keeping it real, and you can almost like tell if he's not feeling something.
Yeah.
And he's like the first guy to call you out on something too.
Right.
So I love that.
Yeah.
Like there's no
He's like no bullshit.
no bullshit kind of guy. Exactly. That's funny that you were thinking that.
I
right
was like,
yeah.
I bet this is, because I was just like, I don't know, like this. I was about to say this one Suga doesn't really seem to be doing much.
Right.
And I was like, I bet that's Max's favorite.
That's awesome.
I don't know why.
That's fucking awesome. You guys know how much I love Yoongi. That's what I love about it, you know? See that you were talking about it earlier. We were talking about just like that excitement and how the audience can feel it. There's a real thing. I talk about this a lot in my communication seminars, mood contagion. We essentially mirror each other's neurons. So if you're watching a speaker, for instance, or even a comedian, if someone's up on stage and they're really excited, we're essentially like catching their mood, and it's because of these neurons that we're mirroring in other people.
So what you're saying is that Run BTS could cure depression.
Precisely. And I think actually a lot of people would tell you there's like a lot of legitimacy to that.
Yeah.
Watching people be happy, I think that alone can make you happy.
Right.
I think they make each other happy. So them all being happy because of the fact that they're around each other in turn makes us happy.
Yes.
Seeing all the smiling.
Yeah.
It's just cyclical.
Yeah, like smiling, and I think laughter too.
Laughter's
because like
contagious.
if you're at a comedy show, or even if you're at like a party or some sort of group setting, and like maybe you're paying attention to a conversation over here, but a joke was said over there. Just hearing the laughter, I know myself, I immediately stop listening to and I went, "What's the joke? I want to know." Right? Like there's an element of curiosity
for sure.
Where if you're around laughter, like it incites more laughter, which is why I always say, like, if you can go see live comedy, because it's completely different.
You're trying to plug one of your shows right now?
Sure, obviously.
Guys,
but
if you're in Toronto, go check out HIlary, okay?
Please, I would love to see you.
진영 같은 사람이 하나도 못할 거라 생각한 거야.
이걸 한 번만
맞지? 야, 이거 하나 우리를 하나도 못할 거라 생각한 거야. 야, 나는 왜 하나야? 나 5개나 했는데. 야, 오늘 일찍 퇴근할 것 같은데?
야, 몇 시야?
Was that Suga who's asked to
Yeah,
go home
I
early?
think so. Yeah,
Again, I'm not surprised. It's like, guys, let's just get it done.
Right. Not worried about offending anyone.
No.
Straight to the point. Yeah.
He's like, I've got dinner plans after this. Like,
I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah. Do you feel like is Suga the most introverted?
In a way, it depends what your definition of introverted is. If you're like a lot of people will say, introverted is essentially your social battery. Like, do people energize you, or after being around a group of people, do you need to be at home and hang out for 12 hours?
Yeah.
So I would imagine in that way he's introverted, like he needs that recharge.
Yeah.
but he can get talking. I would say he talks maybe the most in the group or the second most in the group. Okay. He's an opinionated guy, and he has a lot to say, and he has a lot of like wisdom to bestow. So he's not shy.
Okay.
But I guess that doesn't necessarily correlate with introverted.
Yeah. Well,
always.
I was just wondering because he was saying, kind of this wrap it up, let's get out. Like, I think a lot of performers and a lot of very great social people are introverted.
Yeah,
like they need that
true.
recharge time alone.
Yeah, he's an interesting case, but he definitely gets going. Like he'll talk and he'll get on his monologues, but he doesn't do it in this like animated. He's not that kind of guy, but he'll talk.
So you see a lot of yourself in Suga then?
What's that?
Yeah, maybe.
No, honestly, I don't actually. Like, I think the reason he's my favorite is because like I respect how like honest.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd like to speak my mind a little bit more like him.
It's love, yeah. Sometimes you know, yeah. Sometimes I don't, yeah.
Boys are just having fun, eh? They're just grooving.
토하겠다.
취소할게요.
야, 우리 코드쇼에서 한 거 틀어봐. 가자. Mic check.
Yeah, they've been on James Corden, Jimmy Fallon, like they've done. I'm surprised you've never seen them or heard of them. No, it's okay. I never heard of them until like 2.5 years ago, until people started commenting about them. They're getting, I wouldn't say they're getting massive. They're massive.
Cool.
They're massive.
What are they like on like the late night shows?
They're funny. I mean, it's a little more, these are you just get to see their personality.
Yeah.
Like these are so much better than the late night shows personally, just because you get to see their personalities come out so much more. The late night shows, I feel like they're more structured and limited.
But it's interesting. I think there's such a strong connection between authenticity and humor.
Yeah.
Because that was feedback that I got very early on from some people that I really respect in the comedy scene here who were like, you know what, that's funny, that's good writing, but that doesn't feel like you. Right. And I was like, I think the more that you're able to be yourself, it's beautiful because it's an invitation for somebody else to also do the same. And I think people are always, I got this feedback very early when I was doing some improv comedy. That was like the first thing that comes to your head, probably the funniest. Even if it's actually on paper not that funny, but it's
people can sense that it's coming from you.
Exactly.
So do you see that kind of with these guys potentially? Like they're just being themselves?
Definitely, yeah. And like I think that I meant that in relation to your point of like you like this better versus them on a talk show, because I think like this kind of environment where it's as if this was just put up in their living room.
For sure. I think that's part of why people feel so connected. It's just their personalities coming out.
Yes. But isn't that amazing how like we as social creatures can pick up so quickly on whether or not someone's being authentic?
Yeah.
네. 오케이. 감 잡았어.
윤기 형 뭐 농구 했다더니 벽 아니네?
Facial. Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
There's some teasing. They're throwing some shots at each other.
Rolling on my wrist, diamonds up and down my chain. Cardi B straight sunny, can't tell me nothing. Balls up and
like again, I love this. Like the majority of them are all singing. Suga's at the side playing basketball. Like did not even turn around to see what was happening.
Couldn't care less that his guys are going crazy.
Fat ass got all the boys shoot. Went from dollar bills, now we popping rubber bands. When the same to me while I do my money dance like hey. Flexing on the gram like hey. Hit the little jump, okay. Okay, we should be this getting bad.
아 윤기 형 뭐 벽 아니네.
와. 잠시만요. 옷 좀 벗어야 될 것 같습니다. 와 이게 뭐라고 땀이 흘리냐? 부르자. 외톨이 한번 틀어줘. 외톨이 가자. 나도 외톨이.
Is there a guy that stands out that you find like, okay, maybe this guy could be like the funniest to me?
I feel like people are gonna be angry if I answer that question.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's hard to say. It's okay if there's no one.
This man here.
J-Hope?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's very animated.
He's very animated, and like even when they were singing, he's the one that's got his legs spread the widest, and like, but I think like humor is very subjective, right? Like just looking at them, he's the one that's like the most kind of.
He's like I find his humor more like slapstick almost.
Yeah. Which I think because I'm watching them mostly do something physical, that's what's coming out to me more.
That's actually a really good call.
But
I would say he does like the most like physical humor. And he actually happens to be one of the two lead dancers. He is the dance leader.
Okay.
He is the dance leader. So that actually probably correlates with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Whose humor do you most connect with?
I think Jin is the funniest.
Jin, okay.
I think Jin, like Yoongi, like Suga, the guy who's my favorite, he probably makes me laugh the most.
Right.
Not always intentionally though.
Okay.
But I would say Jin is probably the funniest to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like about his humor?
He can be very sarcastic.
Okay.
But he's just got this like lightheartedness about him. He goofs on the guys, he goofs on himself, and he has this like running joke where he calls himself worldwide handsome because like someone in the media said he was worldwide handsome. And he's been running with it ever since.
Great. That would go right to my head also. I would make sure everyone knew that. Yeah.
So he brings it up like, every opportunity he gets. Like, guys, don't forget, like, I'm worldwide handsome. There's an arrogance to it, but not in a way that you are turned off by at all. It's like, it's funny.
Yeah.
Because he just delivers it in this, like, perfectly sarcastic way.
Yeah.
But he's serious, but not serious. He's an excellent teaser. Because it's just never offensive with him. Like,
I bet he's very empathetic.
Yeah. I would say
because I think in order to do that, you need to have a strong sense of empathy and understand how the other person's perceiving you, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually.
And I think in general, to be like authentically funny, you do need to be very empathetic, right?
Just to understand people.
Yeah, just to understand.
Put yourself in other people's shoes.
Exactly. Yeah. Because like my job as an entertainer, right, is like I'm constantly thinking about how is this being perceived, right? Again, Sugar is just off by
There's V.
Yeah.
V looks alive.
Yeah. Hardly though. Like
barely alive.
Yeah, barely alive. Like
we
got a very brief mouth drop.
Yeah. Let's rewind Jin getting really into it and his vein almost popping out of his neck. Let's see.
See, like, I don't even know if his face actually changed or if it was the sound that made me think it did.
Like Jin rapping like that ridiculously, like that's part of his that's like all part of his kind of like persona and his humor. That's part of why I like him, because he puts himself out there in this like kind of ridiculous way.
Yeah. What do you think motivates him?
Motivates him to
to be that person.
He likes making people happy.
Yeah.
I think he likes lifting up the mood. That's a big deal for him, just to keep things light. I think also being the oldest guy, he kind of takes on that responsibility. Like they have enough stress in their jobs. It might not look like it here, but, you know, touring, making music, it's like, you know, he just keeps things simple. Not that he's a simple guy. I know people have, like, gotten me on that. I'm not saying he's a simple guy in the sense that he doesn't have depth. I know he has depth, and I've talked about that at length on my Patreon page, but people have come at me for saying that. I think he consciously does that sometimes and keeps things light.
I actually think there's a lot of maturity in
a
that,
lot of maturity to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even that face after, right? Like just like,
yeah.
Like that's what I mean. Like even after saying a joke or doing something silly, the way you hold yourself afterwards, right? Can either be like, if that were me, I'd probably just start laughing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But like,
he's still the show. Right. The show goes on with Jin.
Yeah.
He's a showman. I can relate to that feeling of someone fucking resetting my game in the middle of it. Yeah.
원바운드 인정?
와, 원바운드 인정이면 가지.
봐봐. 자, 우리 셋 그쪽 넷.
자, 준비했어? 하나, 둘, 셋. 도전! 오, 야.
I think you have a thing for J-Hope. Not in a romantic way, but
you don't know that.
Maybe you're right. You're right. Maybe you do. I'm not going to tell you who to like and who not to like.
I know you're upset it's not Sugar, but
but no, I think I feel like you find J-Hope funny.
I think he's very expressive.
Very expressive.
Right? And I think in some ways it's like comfortable, for me at least, to be around people who are very expressive.
I'm like forcing you to like someone.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No, but like, you know, people who I think are just very open and expressive. Like it makes you feel safe because you don't have to think about like, oh, what are they thinking about, you know?
Right.
Like,
it's like the opposite of being judged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When someone just kind of like puts themselves out there.
Yeah. But I feel like even because the way he's responding and like you can see in his facial reactions to everybody else, right? That like, I feel like if I was having a conversation with him, I wouldn't have to think like, oh, I wonder what he's thinking about, right? Like it would be very natural because you could see on their face like disinterest, interest, whatever's happening. Maybe that's part of the appeal of like Suga too, where it's like you know where you stand with
Yes,
them.
exactly.
Like
29개라니 와.
진양이 놓치지만 않았어도
야 이거 정확해줬잖아.
아 이거 이 형이 잘못 쳤어요. 이 형이 잘못 쳤어요.
아니야 단합력.
아 그래?
좋아, 다 잘했어.
자 우리가 잘못했어. 형 제가 잘못했어요.
잘했어.
내 잘못이야.
내 잘못이야.
내 잘못이야. 그래 제이홉 잘못을 하자. 그래 제이홉 잘못을 하자.
no, not Jay. My heart's breaking. But it's funny because even in this moment, that like is a point of conflict, right? Where it's like you did it, no, it was your fault, it was my, know, like even just the willingness to admit like, oh, that was my, I think is really interesting and just again shows like how close and connected they are with each other. There's still a lightness to it.
Yes.
I think that was like a moment of like positive humor of like it was like self-enhancing of saying like it was my fault, like like there was a more of a playfulness of it.
Interesting.
And it's from like a communications perspective, this is really interesting because positive humor is much better at like building connection, building familiarity.
That is interesting. Yeah, they seem to have that sort of humor as a tool to build connection piece down really well. No, that's a really interesting point.
But do you feel like when they're disagreeing with each other, they're not actually like in conflict?
No, they're not actually in conflict. It actually gives them an opportunity to bond more.
Yeah,
that's how actually I look at it. I've said this before. I think certain types of humor demonstrates how well you know each other because you're able to say things about other people that most people wouldn't know.
Yes.
And the person who's the recipient of the humor kind of feels that. They're like, all right, this person knows me.
Yes. It feels awesome when somebody like gives you like a good role. You know what I mean?
That they know. That means they know you.
Exactly.
You know?
Like to me, I like if
this person gets me. This person knows me.
They're paying attention to me. Like that's cool. Like I like that.
140을 넘길 자 나타나거라.
140? 넘겨드리죠. 아 저거 150까지 가야 두 번째가
My guess is V won't break
You won't break it.
Suga played basketball.
Oh. Who do you think is the most Riz?
Most Riz?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a great question. Actually, you might be surprised to hear me say this, but I think V.
Okay, really?
Yeah. What do you guys think? I think he's actually the first guy to approach a stranger.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, and he's got like a real kind of charm about doing it. Like,
okay.
He's not shy.
That's so interesting. I guess I got a completely different.
Yeah, no, I would say he was probably like the toughest guy for me to crack.
I feel like there's inherently something Riz-like about that.
Yeah,
of like the intrigue.
The mystery.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say he might have the most Riz. What do you guys think? Most Riz. In other words, charisma. Who else? Riz. Maybe JK. RM might think he has the most Riz. He's the leader.
Okay.
Love him.
Yeah.
And he does, but I would say V and JK.
Like who do you think like if all the guys were at a bar?
Yeah.
Like is it V who's walking up to the hot girl? It's V.
I think it's V.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think people who have that like kind of youthful, like childlike spirit, like you were describing before, like they seem to be more like immune to rejection than others. You know what I mean? Like if you tell like this is gonna be a bad example.
Like a kid?
Yeah, like they just be like, okay, like I like just kind of like whatever. Like I'm gonna keep moving on. Like
there's not really like this big ego involved.
No, yeah.
안녕하세요.
감사합니다. 와.
야 포즈 치워야겠다.
See, V's like a kid, that genuine excitement when the food came. Like, look at his reaction.
Yeah,
you know?
He's got his hands going. Yeah.
I just beat Suga.
와 140이요. 깼다.
Suga's pissed.
아깝다. 보니까 진짜 아깝다. 야 이게 아야.
You ever seen a group of dudes like this? Who are just like cheering each other on?
Never in my life. Never in my life have I seen anyone have that level of
enthusiasm and like encouragement.
Yeah, and just like lack of toxic masculinity in the sense of like, I don't know what you guys are doing in Korea, but keep it up. I don't know if all the guys are.
No, people love it. I think that's a big talking point for a lot of people, is sort of that they're not afraid to show their emotions and their support and their encouragement. I think things that maybe traditionally would be seen as like more soft in North America. Right. I don't think that registers with them and their culture as much, right? So they're just like, no. And you see them touching each other, like they're like, they hug each other and they're playful.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I lived in Korea?
No.
I never told you that? I lived in Korea. Yeah.
Cool.
I was there for a year.
Cool.
I remember like the first day I was there, like the teacher at my school like took my arm and he's like, let me bring you to the photocopier.
Oh, okay. And you're like,
and like the whole time he had my arm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought he was I wasn't sure when he was gonna let go or if he was ever gonna let go.
Like, I guess we're just attached forever now. Thank you.
And then I saw students that, I was teaching at a middle school and students were sitting on each other's laps.
Yeah.
Something you would never see at a middle school in Canada.
Yeah.
So they're much more demonstrative and physically affectionate and also just verbally affectionate too. There's a lot of affection.
That's
you love
really,
it, huh?
I do
you
really
love
love
it.
it. This is really beautiful to see. This is.
Are you Army?
I think
Are you a
I
K-pop
might be.
fan?
I might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do I need any sort of initiation?
No,
or,
you just need to appreciate the boys. That's it.
Appreciation. Yeah.
Especially with these guys, like there's just so much love between these guys, and there's no barriers in terms of expressing it.
Yeah. Have you ever left like a hang with your boys and been like, damn, really should have told him I loved him, or like really should have like given him an extra hug or something like that? Like in that way?
Probably, yeah. Mostly because I feel like the other guy would find it uncomfortable for me to do that.
Yeah. I wonder to like what extent like sexuality might be involved in that too, where like guys think like, oh, if I tell my friends I love them, then they're gonna think I'm gay or like what, which like should not be. I don't know the sexuality of any of the guys, but just there's so much intimacy and love that we can get from friendships.
For sure,
doesn't necessarily always need to be.
Doesn't have to be romanticized.
Totally,
for sure. One thing I noticed being in Korea is they're not as progressive when it comes to social things like being gay. I'm not saying that it's not like they don't accept it at all, but to be honest with you, I talked with one of my teachers at school. He was like 6 years old, and I asked him about gay people in Korea, and he said, "Oh, they don't exist here." And I'm like, first of all, that's
absolutely
false. Definitely not true. Yeah. But I don't think he was being disingenuous. I think he was actually being serious. So it's like the fact that mentality is there maybe contributes to the fact that they're not worried about like touching each other and being affectionate. Because if it doesn't exist, then no one's going to be like, you're gay, right?
That's interesting.
Either way, the affection, we're loving it. We love to see it. We love to see people express themselves, for sure.
이 밥은 여유롭게 먹어도 돼. 나 한 입만 먹어도 돼요? 농구요? 농자.
지금 최고기로 141?
응. 273.
주작 말고 씨.
I find him very cool, JK.
자, 하나, 둘, 셋. 이게
뭘까요?
이거 아까 손 넣고 맞추는 거.
와 이건 진짜 어렵다.
우리 아이씨 우리 서로 믿읍시다.
우리 다 나보러 가야 돼?
우리 잘하잖아.
I was just thinking, there's so much shit to show you. There's so much good stuff to show you.
You have to have me back for another...
if you're down.
Yeah. This is really fun, honestly. Okay. They're fun to watch. Okay. Run BTS. What do we got? They're solving toxic masculinity, depression. They're like really covering it all.
They're problem solvers, huh?
Yeah. Tackling some of the greatest issues of our time.
That's actually hilarious.
And I think also just like their goodness too is what really struck me.
Right.
Like the love they have for each other and just like the goodness that I feel like they're all very good people.
Genuine.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear. As always, if you want to watch our uncut reaction and analysis, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. I've included the link in my description below. Really appreciate you tuning in. I'm sure you loved HIlary. I've included her social links below in the description so you can follow her on TikTok, all the socials where you can find her. Thanks again, guys. Love you. Talk to you soon. Peace.